Hello, welcome to a beautiful sunny Queensland afternoon here in Hervey Bay. Hope all is well and you've had a really good week. Today I just wanted to have a little chat about as Halloween in the north approaches or Soin and Beltane approaches here in the southern hemisphere. Just wanted to talk a little bit about the energies that are around at the moment. If you're anyway empathic, sensitive, very aware of energies around, you might be starting to see some changes, see some unusual activity going on, or a bit more than normal. This is because the veil is thinning at the moment at this time of year. It just means that the little divide between this trying to think of the right word, this particular reality to other energies as they transform is very thin, and it means that there's a lot of crossover. Just even last night my hubby and I were driving home from having dinner and just energy ran straight across the road in front of us. It was too fast, too low to be an animal, and too big. It was definitely person-sized energy. It was just a black blob that went across as the road was well lit. Headlights on the car were on, so yeah, that's just an example. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about how that can impact on us and also some of the stuff we can use. As far as I'm aware, I think we've also got the retrograde coming up again, Mercury retrograde, a great one. So yeah, all this energy is going to impact on us quite a bit. So I just wanted to talk, so with some of these this energy that's around at the moment, I'm being told it's making a lot of us feel very vulnerable at the moment. So if you find that you're a little bit sensitive, more so than normal, if you're feeling a little bit fractious, could be getting a little bit irritated quite easily, it could be that you can't put your finger on it but you just feel a bit out of sorts. It's really important that you keep yourself rested, keep yourself hydrated, keep yourself well and protected. So this means making sure that your home is protected. So what are my go-to crystals? So I'm going to get these out of the way first. So some of the ones we can use are mostly ones that most people will be familiar with around protection. So first one I really like is black tourmaline. I'm not going to show it because I think pretty much everyone knows black tourmaline. It's probably one of the most powerful protecting crystals. I personally have them inside all my doors, and occasionally I will put them inside on a windowsill as well if there's a lot of foot traffic or people flowing through that area. So one of my go-tos would be black obsidian. This volcanic glass, it's glass, not actually a stone as such, just has the ability to literally cut through. If you've ever seen a natural bit of black obsidian, it's really sharp. It's literally like a lump of glass. It will cut you, and it can pretty much cut through anything. So that's why this is a really good crystal. Amethyst not only is very protective, but because it links to those higher realms, it can pull down that divine energy. So while it's protecting this aura and this energy around ourselves, it's also pulling down and opening up our crown chakra so that we can link into that divine protective energy. Really good. Another two favourites of mine, all crystals are my favourites, I suppose. I've got these two. They are actually both smoky quartz. So this is a lighter one, this is a darker one. Smoky quartz again has that ability to just keep us protected. It surrounds our whole energy. Just again, really good stone. It also keeps us grounded, because when we get a little bit fractious, a little bit nervous, a little bit sensitive to the energies that are going on, it can bring about some fear. So all these are also very grounding, bar the amethyst. So these just keep our feet on the ground, help keep us feeling safe, protected and everything else. Other ones you can use hematite. So again, hematite is a very heavy stone, if anyone's familiar with that. It's got a lot of iron in it. So again, it keeps our feet on the ground while keeping our energy and stuff protected. Other ones you can use are things like kyanite, black or blue. Blue is probably a really good one, but black or blue, and they don't need cleansing. Fluorite is another stone you can use for protection. You can wear it, whatever suits you. All of these, if you're going to use them for protection, will need regular cleaning. So I would suggest probably, if you've got a lot of energy flowing through your home at the moment, I would probably cleanse them every couple of days if there's a lot and you feel there's a lot of energy moving through. Or if you feel that you've got a lot of negative energy directed at you and you're wearing them, I would literally cleanse them every couple of days. How do we cleanse them? I have spoke about it before, so we can use a singing bowl. We can use smudge sticks, you can use visualization, you can, lots of different ways. You can run them underwater and just visualize the water running all that negative energy off. Let them dry naturally if you do that, and also be aware not all stones can actually be wet. They will disintegrate or it can affect them. So just be aware of that as well. So that's some of the practical stuff we can do around these energies at the moment. So how is it impacting on us? So if we don't deal with some of this negative stuff that's coming up, as I say, it could be manifesting in a little bit of feeling depressed or a little bit anxious or just can't quite put your finger on it. That is going to have a knock-on effect to everyone else. I'll give you an example. So whenever we go through changes, whether they're positive, negative or whatever, and we live in a unit with other people, so that could be work colleagues, anywhere where we actually interact on a regular basis with other people, we are going to pull those other people along. So the more light and energy we produce, encourage, work with, whatever word you want to use, that's actually going to impact on anyone else. So when we're working on stuff, it's really important that we have that level of awareness around how it's going to affect everyone else. So when we were driving home, my husband has always had certain gifts, but he never really, I suppose, took notice of them too much until his later years. So we had an incident in the home the other night where we both became very aware that a very negative, large energy came into our home, which is very rare, thank goodness. But it wasn't until we spoke about it the next day, because this was during the night, that we actually realised we both did feel it, saw it, felt the energy, and heard all the sounds around the energy. So that's what I mean. So as I'm developing and growing, I'm pulling him along and he's growing and developing. So we just need to have that awareness that that's a positive aspect. But also in the same coin, or the flip side of that same coin, is that if it's a negative impact and we're feeling very negative, very low, that is also going to impact on the people around us. So we might get a little bit irritable, a little bit cranky with people, can't quite understand why, can't quite understand what's going on. It's usually just stuff is being pulled to the surface that we need to look at, we need to address, we need to allow to heal. So it's really important that we do that. So that's all I really wanted to just say, just to have that awareness around the energies at the moment. They are pretty powerful, they are getting stronger, and that will happen as the nearer to Halloween Beltane that we get. Just another little thing, I've had some really bizarre comments this week about people around the negative impacts of Halloween, or the negative connotations, I should say, of Halloween. Halloween is not American, despite what most people think here in Australia. It's actually Celtic in origin. So British, Irish, Scottish, Welsh, that part of Europe. is where it originally came from. It was called the Festival of Soin before the Gregorian calendar came out that we now use as our months and days, weeks, etc. There used to be 13 months, and 31st of October represented the end of the old year. 1st of November was the first of the new year. When Christianity then came along, rather than create a new festival, they piggybacked, as they did with a lot of the pagan festivals, piggybacked on the back of the end of the year, the new year, and made it All Hallows Eve on the 31st and All Saints Day on the 1st. The festival is all about welcoming the family back. So any of our ancestors that have passed on were always welcome back. It's like the Celtic Day of the Dead, for want of a better term. Tradition that's still held in places in parts of Europe. People will set an empty place setting on Halloween just to acknowledge their family members that are still coming back to visit, and just to let them know that they're not forgotten. I think it's a beautiful tradition. It's still a public holiday in Ireland, so all my Irish friends and family have a beautiful long weekend. So yeah, it's still a public holiday over there. So it doesn't have half the negative connotations that people do. Most of that has come around since the old B movies and Hollywood jumped on the Halloween bandwagon, and that's where most of the modern day traditions come from. As for trick-or-treating, that originally came from people used to, because obviously the spirits were moving around on All Hallows Eve, people only wanted to welcome in the ones they wanted, so that was their family and the good spirits. So people would pay people in the village to dress up and scare off all the evil spirits, and they had to look more evil than the evil spirits. So they were actually treated to food and money and whatever as a way of protecting the village. So that's where trick-or-treating came from, but they were actually adults. Pumpkins weren't known in Europe, so they used to carve turnips, and they would put those at the door of their home to protect their home and scare off these evil spirits. So it's actually about a celebration of our ancestors, those that have gone before us, not about all the Hollywood garbage that you see now. So most of the current traditions are actually just made up. But I just wanted to share that with you. So yeah, if you've got an issue with something, do a bit of research, find out what it really is. Don't just kind of jump on the bandwagon and go with everyone else. So yeah, I'm a bit precious about it because it's part of my culture, my heritage. So I just wanted to clarify that. In that said, hope all that celebrate Halloween have an absolutely beautiful day, night, and a great lot of fun. Be safe, look after each other, love each other, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye. Much love.